Hello everybody. I know it's been a minute, but welcome back to another video. I wanted to share what I've been working on the past couple days. But first, if you've enjoyed the builds, like the builds that I'm providing, and things that are off of the beaten path of the meta, please feel free to like, share, subscribe, all of that jazz. Had to do the little YouTube shill at the beginning there, but I came across the build from 0.01, I want to say. That was a Poison Reflect Pathfinder from called Torak. I made some changes and modifications that I think fit better with the Pathfinder and what its powers give us with its Ascendancy to make the build. A lot of it is the same that he made, just a few minor tweaks to what I think would be better for the build to give you some more damage and things along that nature, and kind of just take some of the flaws that Arctic Armor has as a skill and kind of negate those. So we'll go over the skills real quick, and I'll show you what we're playing. Obviously, we're playing Arctic Armor Reflect, having people hit us, and then having that damage reflected at them. And because we're Pathfinder, we're scaling with the poison. But we're using a specific set of gloves that we'll go over when I get to the gear. But we're going to go over what the skills are real quick. No, we don't want to open chat. Open the skill bind. Alright, so first things first, we're going over Arctic Armor. So Arctic Armor gives us a barrier that gains stages over time, and when we are hit with melee attacks, it deals out a burst of cold damage that is scaled with cold. And because the gloves that we're wearing, we're able to poison with that, and go from there because we got a bunch of poison chance and all of that good stuff. I'm debating on if I want to put Rakiata's Flow in there for penetration. I'm not really sure, or Arakari's Lust, because we do stack a lot of poisons in here. But obviously, we're using Arctic Armor. That's where the build's based off of. Next support skill is Cold Mastery, followed by Bursting Plague. This gives us the pop and the spread that I used in the Poison Arrow Pathfinder. This helps us get the enemies to explode. They deal 20% of their life as damage, poison our enemies, and it just keeps the chain going. Next, we're using Elemental Focus. We're dealing 25% more elemental damage, but we're not dealing ailments. Not a big deal. We're not freezing, so it's not that big of a deal. Next, we're using Controlled Destruction for another 25% more hit damage, and then our skills don't deal critical strikes. Not really a big deal because we're a dot-based build. And then we're using Deadly Poison 2. Supported skills deal 33% less damage with hits. We're already negating that off of our two supports there, but we're getting 100% more magnitudes of poison that we're inflicting. So that's what we're doing there. In Cal's version, he uses Herald of Plague because it gives you a bigger radius. We're using our Ascendancy. We're using it for a reason that, not that version is bad. We're using it because I wanted to be able to map and not have to deal with the range mobs and be able to kill them without a mob around us that gives us that melee hit to proc everything, right? So we're using Plaguebearer. Reason for this is because it stores up 60% of the poison that we deal, and then it lets us let out a big cloud of poison and deals poison damage to everything around it. It 100% poisons everything, and that's how we get our big poisons for the mobs that are ranged and dealing ranged spells to us. And we get to kind of get around the downfall of what is Arctic Armor. We're using Chaos Mastery to give it a +1, Magnified Area to give it more area of effect, and then Deadly Poisons, so that way it gets more magnitude of the poison. And then we're using Profanity 2. And I don't really know if I like this one. This might be pulled out. I'm not really sure. And then Bursting Plague. Again, we're using Bursting Plague. We use it on every single skill that we use. Reason being is because we want that proliferation and that big pop. We're using Frost Darts. So in calls, he only used Arctic Armor. I'm using the benefit of what Pathfinder gives us with able to stack more poisons on our target. So we're stacking 6 poisons on our target. This makes bossing a little bit easier. Bossing's still slow on this build. It's not one of your Deadeye builds or things like that. It's 1, off meta. Nobody's really playing this. 2, it's a dot-based build. There's not a lot of people playing dot-based builds unless you're playing Contagion was the build that was going around at the beginning. But we're doing this, reason being is because Frost Darts hits 2 top 3 projectiles. And then we also get a chance for 2 additional projectiles because we have quality on it. This lets us keep our poison stacks at 6, so we constantly have 6 poison stacks on the boss. And then we're also using Withering Presence. Build only uses 100 Spirit. I didn't want to go through and craft and use a bunch of stuff that's causing us to have to get Spirit on everything. I want to be able to stack as much defense as possible and not have to worry about it. Alright, so that's all the skills that we're using. We're using Plaguebearer and we're using Frost Darts. Frost Dart shoots pretty fast, so we're constantly able to reapply that poison, especially when it goes down. There's another node that I'm going to take here in a second that's going to give us another 10% poison duration. But all in all, we do a pretty good job. Gear, the all-star of this build is Plaguefinger. Reason because all damage from hits contributes to poison magnitude. So all of our cold damage makes it to where you give a big, giant poison burst. We bought a bunch of gloves. Apologize. And we corrupted, I think I corrupted like 10 pair. At first I was quality them, then I realized this quality didn't really do anything, didn't give us a lot there. So at the last couple of them, I just corrupted them, hoping to go 2 sockets because I wanted that 30% increased magnitude of poisons we inflict, or magnitude of damaging ailments we inflict. Headhunter, not mandatory. I just bought one, wanted to use it on this build. Oh, wanted to use it on all my builds. You can use a rare belt and just get your reses, help you cap your reses better. Headhunter is not mandatory. Boots, all of this stuff was crafted using X the Farmer's X's videos that he goes over how to craft boots, chest. I use the same exact ideology to craft the rest of my gear. The amulet, the focus. He has a wand craft. I used that wand craft and just used it for cold, and it's the same thing. So all this gear you can craft. I think I paid for each of the bases to recom them was like 30x. So you can relatively make these boots if you get lucky for like a div or 2, I would say. Same with the chest, same with the helmet. Focus took me a little bit longer because I missed a bunch of times. The amulet took me a little longer because I constantly missed the +3 to all spell skills. I missed it, I think, 7 times. So I blew a lot of money making this. The wand, I tried 4 times to hit the wand. So all of this stuff is very easy for you to hit, very easy to craft. Rings, same ideology. For this ring, I went and got a ring that had cold damage, a ring that had all elemental resistance, and I reforged them. And then went with a perfect exalted orb and a homogeneous Omen, and also a Omen that only targets the suffixes, and was able to get Lightning Res and Chaos Res. With the Chaos Res, I'm still up in the air whether or not I'm going to go CI. Reason being is CI will give us the buff that we are immune to bleeding, and we don't have to worry about getting our Chaos Res capped. And yeah, we'll negate all of that. But I just worry because we only have 1200 ES. And then obviously I tried to hit Chaos for attacks, missed on Chaos for attack. So then I tried to hit on our Desecration, tried to hit Chaos. I think there was 4% Chaos damage, so I rolled over, and then we got lucky, hit 25% rarity. This is the only rarity I have on the build. I don't like running rarity. Reason being is because I don't like nerfing a character to get a slight benefit out of drops. I'd rather just kill more mobs. I believe it or not, I found this ring with. I was looking for all elemental resistances. I had another one that had cold damage on it, but then I looked at this and it was T1 cold damage, T1 chaos damage already on there, and it just had the int. So the int is good for the build. It is what it is, right? Obviously, I would like another res on there. So I homogenized and exalted the suffix, and we ended up hitting dexterity. Would have liked to have a res, but it is, like I said, it is what it is. So we were able to move around some of our points on the tree and make them intelligence. And then we missed on our desecration. Our desecration, we would like to have anything other than physical damage to attacks, because damage to attacks doesn't really do anything for us. Boots, movement speed, evasion, or energy shield, not evasion, sorry, and resistances. So we started out, if you watch X the Farmer's X's videos, you start out, you buy bases with 35% movement speed, and you buy bases with increased energy shield. We started with tier 2 bases. Tier 1 bases were a little expensive, because in all honesty, when I started this build, I didn't know if I could get it to work to my liking. And then we slammed on we bought a homogenized Exalt, and prefix slammed on increased energy shield, and then we went unveiled for resistance. We got lightning and chaos because the reses that we got were too low. I think they were in like the 10s. I wasn't happy with that because I didn't want to go pay for an Omen of Light. Reason being is because Omen of Lights are super expensive, right? And if I'm going to use those, I'd rather use the ones that I drop. And I homogenized Exalted on 2 resistances with a greater Exalt. As you can see, they're both T4s. We would have had a chance to hit higher with the perfect Exalts, but I didn't want to spend that much money on them. Chest armor followed the same thing. We went and got a increased energy shield, and then we went and got a flat energy shield. We slammed those together. Perfect homogenizing exalted, or we greater exalted, and got lucky and hit T1 hybrid. And then we did the same thing with the suffixes. We went, unveiled a resistance, and then we slammed on our suffixes. And we got lucky, we got triple resistances, huge for us. And then the same thing for our helmet. Helmet did the same thing, went and got increased and flat, and then we slammed on we slammed up hybrid, increased energy shield, and then life. Honestly, we would have much rather had the hybrid energy shield and flat energy shield, but we hit the life. Not that big of a deal. Kind of a dead mod if we go CI, but right now it gives us a little more life. And then Unveil we missed, unfortunately. But we did get lucky when we hit increased energy shield, and then it gave us another resistance. And I think because I hit that, I only homogenizing exalted first, and then I just YOLO slammed a greater exalt and prayed, and we hit cold resistance. This was the same thing. We wanted to get energy shield, and then I wanted cold damage, and then we tried to hit with a homogenizing exalt the spell damage. And then from there, I think I missed. I tried on this one a bunch of times. I think we tried oh man, I know that when I started, there was like 70 of each style of each one of the mods that I was looking for, and by the time I was done, there was about 25 left. So we missed a bunch of times. So it is what it is, and then we use the essence to give ourselves a +3 level to all spell skills. I know there's +4, right, but we're doing pretty well. And then we just, for the last of our suffixes, we put on faster recharge, and then we also slammed on increased energy shield recharge rate. Wand, we started out with cold damage. We took a cold damage wand, and then we took wand with any suffix, and we slammed them together. It's like a 60-something%, and then I used the Omen of Recombination to give it a little higher, so it rolls it twice, and we got the cold damage on there. And then we slammed on, so we got the 2 mods right, and then we use a Omen of the Abyss, or a Essence of the Abyss on there, and make it target a suffix, take off the suffix, and give it the Mark of the Beast. And then from there, we go and we homogenizing exalt, homogenizing exalt, and I used a perfect exalt to try to hit +5 to spell skills. We ended up hitting +4, pretty good. And then you just go from there. This, I followed the same steps that I did for the wand. I wanted to increase spell damage, and from there we went and got spell damage, got a suffix, took the suffix off with the essence, and then from there it's a 1 in 3 to hit spell skill gems. I missed 4 times, and it was super expensive because I was using the perfects. It's a 1 in 4 to hit the spell skills. You can hit cast speed, which I hit on here, and then you can also hit crit bonus. So you hit crit. I hit crit bonus the first time, and then for this one, yeah, I hit the crit bonus and I hit crit bonus, and then I hit critical damage bonus the first time that I perfect exalted. I was a madman and just decided to YOLO and all to see if I could hit one of them off, and I did. I removed the crit bonus that time, and that leaves you with this is a caster and speed, and this is a caster and damage. The critical damage bonus is a crit and a damage. So then now, since we're going to perfect homogenize, we now can hit this. So again, we went double exalted, so that way I removed the critical, so we removed critical strike chance. And I double perfect exalted, hit the spell damage, hit the critical damage bonus. Critical damage bonus doesn't do anything because our main skill, we're taking away our opportunity to do crits. So that takes that out of there. It's not that big of a deal. I would like to have either stats or a res, something along those lines. And then from there, we put on a second prefix, and then we 50-50 put on global defenses. I just hit it with a Exalted Orb and hope for the best. So we got that. We missed the spell damage, which is fine. Because we could, I'm pretty sure we could have put it back on. I don't have PoEDB pulled up. I'm pretty sure we can put it on. Let me pull up PoEDB and we'll take a look real quick. Because I'm pretty sure with the tags that we had at that time, we could have put it back on. Make sure that I'm not completely giving you guys the wrong information, because that's not what I'm trying to do. Mod calcs. So we had those on. So we had crit damage, caster, gem, and caster. And then we have global defenses. So we weren't 100% chance to get it on because we had put the global defenses on there, which gives it a defense tag, which leaves it open for everything else to get on there. So I was wrong. Cut that out. Boop. We don't, at that point, we wouldn't have been able to get it out. We just won the 50-50. And then I had an Omen of Light from one that I dropped. We missed on our first desecration, removed the desecration, and then the second time we hit increased maximum energy shield. All in all, this stuff was all good. Rings were the last thing that I crafted. We're using a bleed charm, a stun charm, and a thawing charm. We're using the unique bleed charm. This one gives us consecrated ground. You can see consecrated ground, you and our allies are consecrated ground, regenerate 5% of your maximum health per second, and curses have 50% reuse effect. And then we're also using the Nescent Hope Thawing Charm, giving us a energy charge starts on use. And then with our faster energy charge, we're constantly recharging our energy. So we're going to go through, normally I wouldn't talk through the mapping video, but because I don't have the skill rotation, there's not really a skill rotation. We're just going to go through and kind of talk about what I'm doing through the map, and we'll go from there. Actually, I don't want to run one that has bleeding on hit. Not yet, because we're not CI. And then I also don't run 6 modded maps. Reason being is that I don't like having that one death, you lose the map thing. Here. We're using a expedition for more logbooks, and then we're also using a irradiated one. So as you can see, we go right into the mobs and we let them hit us, and the poison spreads. Oh, I forgot to talk about ascendancy points. So yeah, we'll talk about ascendancy points after this map. Want to find a range mob because that'll show us, that'll let me show you why we are using Plaguebearer. One, it's powerful. I think it's a very powerful skill, very underutilized skill. So for the spiders, see, the spiders don't hit us. They shoot that web, and with range attacks, we aren't able to proc it. We need to get hit first. You see that the archer was dealing damage to us, which doesn't let us proc the Arctic Armor. Probably shouldn't have done this map boss because he, you see, it takes him a second to hit us because they shoot all those webs out. We just jump in the middle of the pack. And that's that. This is the whole playstyle of the build. And it just spreads like wildfire throughout the enemies. Hoping one of these guys gets a Shroud Walker. It's not the fastest build, it's not the best build, but it's build if you want to be lazy and just play the game. Most of the time, we don't even use our mana. Just the just the one spell skill gem that we uses them. So we constantly are constantly poisoning, so our Plaguebearer is constantly up. Fleck bleeding, fleck beating, extra chaos damage. It's fine. They're just going to do a lot of damage. Hopefully we don't die. We'll go into the middle of the pack, pop Plaguebearer, and go from there. Got a logbook. Alrighty. Grab them. We wanted the 81 logbooks. Hopefully it's Lush Isles, so we can do... No, it's not Lush Isles, but we can run that and try to get some bases. I leveled this character with just the Lush Isle tech. So you go in, you buy logbooks that have Lush Isles. Lush Isles gives you the... there's a remnant in there that gives the monsters plus 200% experience gain, and you just fly through levels doing them. So we let the monster sit us, and by the time we're at the next mob, our energy shield should be recharged. So this is the boss. This boss is a bad example of what you should be doing in bosses. Only reason being is because he doesn't really do melee stripe at taps. You let him hit you.
Spread the infection.
We just want to make sure he's got 6 stacks of poison on him all the time. Dead. Very simple mapping. Like I said, it's you just stand there, you get hit, and you go from there. Go over what I did for the Ascendancy points, because I forgot to, obviously, and then we didn't go over the Ascendancy tree. So for the Ascendancy itself, we're taking Traveler's Wisdom. Reason being is we get 6 extra skill points. I think 6 extra skill points is super powerful. And then we come out here for increased magnitude of poisons we inflict. Contagious Contamination. Most damaging poison of our enemies we kill spreads to the other enemies within 1.5 meters. That's why we're getting those pops, right? Everything's popping and this poison's is spreading, and it's spreading to our next enemies, and you can get that big chain. Taking overwhelming toxicity doubles the number of poisons on our targets can be affected at the same time. That's how we're stacking 6 at the cost of 35% Sorry. Less poison duration. Get a drink of water. I'm doing a lot of talking in this video. Alright, next we're using Relentless Pursuit. This is giving us... our movement speed is unaffected by slows. So if you hold down, slows is... or debuffs. So temp chains and chilled ground specifically. I don't like dealing with them. And we don't have to worry about it with our Ascendancy points. Next, we're going and grabbing Crippling Toxins. This is for more increased magnitude. We're going to grab this little hanger and fill out this wheel for more poison duration. As you've seen in the boss fight, sometimes our poisons fall off. I don't want them to fall off as much. And then we're going and grabbing Stacking Toxins. Stacking Toxins giving us another +1 at the cost of reducing our poison's magnitude we inflict. We grab a lot of increased poison magnitude as you see throughout the tree, plus what's in our gloves, using those runes. And then we're also using Lasting Toxins for increased poison duration. And then grab these other nodes here for poison on hit and poison durations. And we come up and grab Low Tolerance. This gives us 60% increased effect of the poisons we inflict on targets that are not poison. So that poison that our Ascendancy is giving us that causes the spread with the highest damage one, we're increasing that by 60%. We're grabbing the poison on hit nodes and magnitude here. Next, we're going to grab Leeching Toxins for the increased magnitude of poisons we inflict. That cancels out this downside, giving us a net positive of 10%. And then again, we're grabbing poison on hit, poison duration, magnitude. Grabbing this whole wheel over here. As you can see, we're grabbing a lot of the whole wheels of the poison nodes because there's not a lot of them. As you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's not a lot. So we're just grabbing them all because it's all good stuff. Escalating Toxins for increased poison duration for each poison inflicted recently. Maximum up to 100%. And then we're also using Building Toxins. Reduced poison duration, that's where we're grabbing all the increased poison duration nodes. But we're able to stack another poison. That's giving us, so we get 1 poison, 2 poison, 3 poisons from the tree, plus we get to double it because of our Ascendancy, so we get 6 poisons. And then we're taking low toxic tolerance to be immune from poisons, because it's just good heal well. You don't have to worry about. That's one more thing that we don't have to worry about that's on the maps. Then we're taking all these travel nodes. I apologize for the coughing. I'm talking a lot. Taking this node for reduced energy shield recharge rate, but faster start of energy shield recharge coming up. Grabbing this node for increased maximum energy shield. Grabbing the intelligence node just because it's 1 point and it's right there. Next, we're going to come up here and grab Endless Blizzard for the +1 level of cold skill gems, and then Glacification for gaining elemental damage as extra cold damage, and then we're also penetrating 18% of cold resistance. Next, we're going to come over to Enhanced Barrier and grab Increased Maximum Energy Shield, and converts 5% of our life into Energy Shield. Coming down here, we grab Dependable Ward for increased energy shield recharge rate and faster energy shield recharge rate. Come down here for Illuminated Crown, increased light radius, which is nothing, but we get 70% increased energy shield from our equipped helmet. As you can see in our helmet, we have a 550 ES helmet, so we get another 70% increase on top of that. Next, we're going to come down here. We're going to grab Dampening Shield. Gives us an increased 28% increased maximum energy shield, and we get some stun and ailment threshold nodes because of it. And then we're going to grab Rapid Recharge for more recharge and faster recharge. Come down here, grab Pure Energy for another 30% increased maximum energy shield. And then Insightfulness for energy shield, mana regeneration, and increased intelligence. And then we're also grabbing Melding for increased maximum energy shield at a cost of 10% reduced mana. Next big thing is the jewels. We want a bunch of jewels that have something that looks like this. Increased spell damage, maximum energy shield, and then damaging ailments deal damage 7% faster. Shock duration is nothing for us. As you can see in this other gem, increased maximum energy shield. We got increased chance to inflict ailments. That just gives us more chance to poison. And then damaging ailments deal damage 7% faster. And then we got a desecration of increased spell damage. The armor doesn't do anything for us, obviously, because we're not an armor build. Again, this gem is more of the same stuff. It's increased maximum energy shield, increased energy shield recharge rate, and damaging ailments deal damage faster. And then we desecrated on, recover 2% mana on kill. We can come down here and also grab this hanger node here for, we actually go here and it'd just be 1 point for another Jewel Slocket. But that's it. That's the build. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment. Again, I'm going to chill out. If you like this build, if you liked any of the other previous builds, please like, share, subscribe. I really appreciate all the help. Yeah. Thank you guys very much.